study about the male reproductive system. It consists of the following parts. The male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes, scrotum, penis, prostate gland, seminal vesicle, seminal duct, vas deferens, urinary bladder, ureter, urethra, urinogenital aperture. Now let us see to the parts of the male reproductive system once again. That is, it consists of a pair of testes, scrotum, epididymis, penis, prostate gland, seminal vesicle, seminal duct, seminal vesicle, seminal duct, vas deferens, urinary bladder, ureters, a pair of ureters, urethra. And the male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes. That means two testes are present. A pair of testes is present outside the abdominal cavity in a pouch-like structure called as scrotum. So, testis is present outside the abdominal cavity in a pouch-like structure which is called as scrotum. Each testis has highly coiled seminal tubules, seminiferous tubules. Each testis has highly coiled seminiferous tubules. These seminiferous tubules produces sperms. So, these seminiferous tubules which are highly coiled inside the testes are able to produce sperms by meiosis cell division. Inside the testes, male sex hormone called testosterone is also produced in the testes. So, this testis consists of a large number of sperms. That means hundreds of millions of sperms are produced in the testis. Now the question is that why the testis is located outside the abdominal cavity? It's very important to know that testes are located outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called scrotum. As we all know that scrotum is a pouch which encloses this testis. So here this scrotum maintains low temperature for the testis, that is 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade. That is lower than the body temperature, which is very much necessary for the sperm formation. The scrotum helps in maintaining low temperature, that is lower temperature for the testis, that is 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade, lower than the body temperature, which is very much necessary for the sperm formation. On the testis, you can see this region, epididymis. It has highly coiled tubes located along the posterior side of the testis. So, epididymis is having highly coiled tubes which are located on the posterior side of the testis. The importance of this epididymis is sperms are stored in them. So, sperms are stored inside the epididymis. This region is called as prostate gland. Prostate gland has some secretions which this prostate gland secretes some secretions which help to activate the sperms and also supply nutrients to the sperms. That is, this prostate gland, the secretions of this prostate gland activate the sperms and also supply nutrition. From the epidermis, we can see a tubular structure. So, this tubular structure is made up of smooth tissues from each of the epidermis and arise to as vas deferens. This tubular structure, which is arising from the epidermis, just arise as vas deferens. It ascends into the abdominal cavity, looping around the ureter. So it ascends around the abdominal cavity, looping around the ureter. This region is called as seminal vesicle. This seminal vesicle, they open into vas deferens. This seminal vesicle opens into vas deferens. This is called as seminal vesicle, which opens into vas deferens. This is called as seminal duct. So, this is very much important. They produce seminal fluid. It is the source of energy for the sperms when they are outside the body. So, the importance of this seminal vesicle is that it gives the source of energy for the sperms when they are outside the body. Now let us see the duct that is arising from the seminal vesicle. Joins as vas deferens and continues as ejaculatory duct. So the duct that is formed from the seminal vesicle as joint and the center is called as ejaculatory duct. See here, there are two ejaculatory ducts which join in the center. The two ejaculatory ducts join at the center of the prostate gland. So these two ejaculatory ducts join at the center and the prostate gland and open into urethra. This is called as urethra. Urethra in male is not only transports urine but also sperms. Hence it is also called as urinogenital duct. Hence we call this as urinogenital duct. This region we call this as vasa efferentia. This region is called as vas deferens. Here above the testes we can see epidermis. Next to this there is a region called as vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia, the seminiferous tubules open into the epidermis. They carry sperms to the epidermis. Vasa efferentia is the most convoluted tubules from radiate testis to the vas deferens and build up the head of the epidermis. This region is called as seminal vesicle. This region is called as seminal vesicle. The fluid secreted from the seminal vesicles, prostate gland and corpus gland, collectively called as seminal fluid. The fluid secreted from the corpus gland, prostate gland, collectively called as seminal plasma. The fluid secreted from seminal vesicles, prostate gland and corpus gland, collectively called as seminal plasma. The seminal plasma, along with the sperms, the seminal plasma along with the sperms called as semen. So the seminal plasma along with the sperms called as semen. The sending out of semen from male's body is called as ejaculation. The corpus gland. These glands have secretions. These glands helps in neutralizing the acidity and lubricating the urethra. Sending out of semen in the male's body is called as ejaculation. From normal fertility, 60% of the sperm should have normal shape and size, and 40% of them should have vigorous fertility.